everyone. Today I am going to explain 5 important topics in JavaScript. Variables, functions, arrays, objects and loops. These are the building blocks of JavaScript and are essential to learn for any kind of programming for web development. Let's go one by one. These are the variables. First we have variables. A variable is like a container in which we store data. In JavaScript, we declare variables using let, constant and var. Most commonly we use let and constant. Here we are initializing the variables through the values. We stored the name Ram to the name and store it in a variable. The difference between let and constant is that let can be changed later, but constant cannot be changed. If I write constant a is equals to 21, it cannot assign another value to it later. We avoid using var nowadays because it is some issues with scope and can create bugs in large programs. The output for this program is this. Now we have functions. Functions are reusable blocks of code that do a specific task. Think of a function like a mission. You got it input. If input performs a task and sometimes it gives output. The function is named greet user and it takes one input name called Ramya. It prints hello Ramya. Functions help make our code clean and easy to reuse and easier to understand. Here we create greet user function with the username called Ramya. It prints the hello Ramya as the output. Uh, in these functions we also have arrow functions. Now let's move on to arrays. Arrays are used to store multiple values in a single variable. For example, let fruits. It stores the fruits, all the fruit names in the array called fruits. Array are used square brackets and each item is separated by a comma and the item is put it in a inverted commas. The first item is at index 0 and then 1 and then 2 and so on. We can also use loop through arrays, sort them, add or removing elements and do many things. Arrays are useful when you want to store a list of items like names, numbers or objects or like fruits. We are using here slicing operation to get the items at a specific index. Now objects. Objects are used to store key value pairs. While arrays are good for lists, objects are great for describing things. Here we have an object called student which store the three properties called name, age and course. In this we have function. Here we initializing name variable with Divya and age with 20, course with BTech. So objects help organize data in a meaningful way. You can even have arrays inside objects or objects inside arrays, and that's how real world data is often stored. This is the output for the object program. Now let's go to loops. Loops are used to repeat a block of code multiple times. The most common types are for loops and while loops. For example, this is the example for the while for loop. Here we initialize the variable I with by using let function and initialize it with 1 up to 5. It prints the numbers up to 5. It, so the loops are especially helpful when working with arrays. If you have a list of students and you want to print each name, you can use a loop instead of repeating code again and again. So let's summarize all the topics. The first variables are used to store the data, and then functions perform tasks and make your code reusable, and then arrays which hold multiple values of same data types, and objects that store data in a key value format. Loops helps to repeat task easily. These five concepts are used in almost every JavaScript object, from small website to big applications. Once you understand these clearly, you can move on to more advanced topics. Thank you for watching.